Hi there, this is Chris from MoneyHub, and this video looks at the best New Zealand home loan rates. We've listed 1, 2 and 5 year fixed rates within our guide, as well as variable and floating rates. So variable and floating rates, just as a background, are the same thing, but they are titled sometimes differently, just like home loans are also titled as mortgages. So just as a background here, our guide, which I've linked below, lists everything in the 1 year and the 2 year and the 5 year. We update this weekly or on demand. Sometimes you'll see, some news stories about a bank such as this one, Westpac in this case, saying they're going to increase. So we just update, accordingly. What is very important to know is that, the challenger banks tend to be the cheapest, not always. So this is the likes of the Heartland and the Cooperative Bank and perhaps TSB, whereas your legacy banks, your larger ones, the Australian owned, if you sort of want to describe them like that, they tend to be higher, but not always, and you may get a different rate if you're dealing with a mortgage broker than what's advertised by the bank. So that's just something to know. We've listed, as I said, 1, 2 and 5 years. So it's just worth having a look through, seeing what's available. And these rates are available to anyone who's remortgaging, and they're also available to anyone who's a first home buyer as well. For the floating variable rates, so the challenges here, first up is Simplicity. So they have a low fee floating rate, a low interest floating rate for their customers. So you will need to be a Simplicity KiwiSaver member or a Simplicity also offers its first home loan rate to its investors outside of KiwiSaver. So that's anyone with money within their investment funds. You'll also see that Heartland has a floating rate. First Credit Union does it too. But what you can do, of course, with any mortgage is have some, with the bank as fixed, as well as some with variable. So this is a way for people to kind of minimize their risk or kind of diversify whatever they want to be doing with their ongoing payments. People ask us, what should I do? Should I fix for 1 year? Should I fix for 2 years? Should I fix for 5 year? The answer is this depends on what you can afford and what you want to do. So many people fixed for 5 years in 2019, not knowing that COVID would come and then drop interest rates quite significantly. But at the same time, so they would have missed, if they'd fixed for say 3 years or 5 years, they would have missed that low interest period. But at the same time, many people have gone in 2021, 2022 with very low interest rates and fixed for a short term. What we're seeing in recent stories at the start of 2023 is, things like this where, you've got a situation of someone signing up for a mortgage for 1 year, suddenly the interest rates triple or something like that, and then it's very, very expensive to meet those ongoing repayments. What I will say here is that we're not expecting to see such volatility and such rises that we saw post 2022, but things are changing constantly. But we don't expect interest rates to triple like they have almost done, or actually have done since 2020, when the COVID response was sort of announced and put into action. What's worth reading is all of our must-know facts. So we've listed some below, and really just looking at what's important to have structured in your mortgage. Many people like the idea of being able to make extra repayments without penalty. Some mortgages will allow that, some will have a sort of a cap on it per year. So do sort of be aware that, if you were to receive a lump sum, or if you were to change jobs and be able to make higher repayments, then, there is possibilities there to make, work with your bank or work with your lender to be able to decrease the amount that you owe without any penalties by making those payments. People often use offset mortgages accounts. This is a way to just sort of protect your money and savings, at the same time decrease your interest rate. So we've got a dedicated guide to offset mortgages, which I'll link below in the video. They can also, there's other ways to structure a mortgage. People split interest rates, so they can, have some fixed, as I said, have some variable, and just kind of diversify the risk. There's other things in play, so it is worth having a read through. And then we also look at what home loan fees exist. Most borrowers won't actually have too many fees charged, but we've just put a full list in just to make you aware that sometimes lenders can charge these. So just have a read through and just be aware if you do see this come up, then these are what they are. We've also got a very comprehensive guide to applying for a home loan, so what you need to know, and I suggest having a read through this because it does help you out, as to what you should do, what you should know, and basically just useful tips to make an informed decision. It's very likely that a mortgage is going to be your highest ongoing cost, so it really pays to properly prepare for that. What I also suggest, because many people say, well, should I go with a mortgage broker? Should I go with a bank directly? My view here is always contact a mortgage broker just for insights, just for some sort of background, because often they can help you, especially if you have some sort of hybrid or specialist situation, so some sort of family thing or some sort of financing requirement that needs a specialist hand, whereas banks can be in some cases quite sort of rigid, but mortgage brokers are there to do deals, and they work with the banks, so they're there to get things over the line. So have a read as well if you are looking at the KiwiSaver first home withdrawal, and then any home start grants if you qualify, because that can also help. Lastly, we've got some frequently asked questions, and that's just a good way to read up if there's anything that you're missing there. So as I say, we've linked everything down below. Do ask if you have any questions in the comments section, because we really want to make these guides as comprehensive as possible. We do that by obviously asking our readers and our users what they think and what can we improve, but also YouTube is incredibly helpful for that as well. So thanks very much, and we look forward to updating these guides as we go forward, making sure that everyone has a full access to the latest home loan offers.